In today's class, we will discuss further on the different services offered as a cloud storage. The first one is the Google Docs, right? It is very well popular type of a service provided by the Google, wherein it allows a user to store different types of documents. It can be a type of a Word documents, spreadsheets, or presentation files like PPTs, or also it also supports the storage of any other type of a file. It can be a zip file, images, videos. Okay, now it is widely available. It can store any of the type of a file onto its particular storage. As of now, in the current market, the Google has the highest number of clients, wherein it allows to store a 15 GB of data for a free. And if a user wants to store more than that, then they have to go for a paid version. Then the second type of a service, we can call it to be related to the web emails, right? The web emails, which is very popular, which one we use is the mail provided by the Google. Again, it is the Gmail, right? So Gmail is a type of a web email. Again, if you look into the and try to understand the concept of a Gmail, it is again a web interface, right? The service is available and the data related to that particular Gmail will be stored on the cloud infrastructure itself. So Gmail is one of the example. Hotmail and the Yahoo Mail are the few. These are the few popular webmail services. Then we have a couple of services which allows to store the photographs, the digital photographs, okay, or the videos onto the certain websites called as Flickr and Picasa. Have you anytime used the Flickr and Picasa? Anybody know about these two things? Flickr is very popular. Still, it is present. It is again a login. Particular client need to get a register to their website, and then once the account is created, they can store the photographs or the images onto their cloud infrastructure. Now, Picasa, have you heard it? Have you ever used the Picasa?
Yes, sir.
Does it still exist?
Now we are not using, sir, but before it available.
Yeah. Who was the owner of Picasa? Who owned it?
So I don't know.
Don't know. Okay, it's interesting. You try to find out who owned Picasa and why it is discontinued. What is there in place of this Picasa as of now? Okay, it is a very important, not important, I would say. It is interesting to know. Okay, then suppose if you want to store videos, then we have a services like YouTube. Again, YouTube is owned by Google, where not a million, billions of video files can be uploaded. And again, the interface is what the webmail. It's a web interfaces, right? All the videos of the client will get stored onto the cloud infrastructure or the cloud storage itself. And if we want to have a cloud storage for the websites, right? Websites can also be stored on a cloud infrastructure. And the two very popular services, the vendors for the storing websites are HostMonster and GoDaddy. Definitely, you might have heard about the second one here, GoDaddy, right? Which is very popular in India also. But HostMonster is not that much popular. Earlier, it was before this GoDaddy came into the market, the HostMonster was very popular, but due to some security issues, security reasons, the HostMonster started losing its popularity. And for the social networking, social media, there are different service providers like a Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. You all know about these type of services. If you look into in general, all these are a different type of services. We all are used to access these type of services, but we don't know that they all support or they are established on a cloud storage architecture itself. Cloud storage is sometime when you look into the first example here itself, the Google Docs, or we see this Google Docs or the old name, but now we can call it to be a drive, right? Where we can store all our data onto the Google infrastructure. It's a combination of a storage with the SaaS applications. Most of the time, the global storage or the cloud storage in general will not be the client may not be able to access the storage until and unless they have an interface or they have a software to access them. So the SaaS services, that is the software as a services, and the cloud storage both go hand in hand. Understood, students? The next comes the concept of securities. Since we are storing all our data onto the cloud storage on our different types of services, it could be related to the documents, or it could be the emails, which is very much confidential to a particular person, or it could be the websites, right? Or it could be any social networking sites. In all these storages, the data which we are storing on the cloud storage is very much important. This particular data should not be access of this particular data shouldn't be given to somebody else. There should be a proper security involved there. So as part of a security, to maintain a proper security, a different type of approaches are, or different types of technique are used by the cloud storage providers. It can be as simple as the encryption, authentication processes, or the authorization processes. Okay, encryption means the document has to be encrypted such that only the proper user can get access to that. Suppose when these things, the encryption, authentication, and authorization, all these three go hand in hand. For example, authentication process. Basically, authentication means what? It is a combination of a username and a password given to a particular user in order to access a certain cloud infrastructure services or a cloud services. Okay. Now, once that username and password both are available, and when a user tries to access the website by providing the username and a password, these two, username and password, have to be encrypted. It shouldn't be stolen by somebody else. It shouldn't be stolen by the hacker. Means there should be a proper encryption given to the username and a password. Once the encryption is done, and then there should be a facility for the decryption of those encrypted data. Now there can be a situation wherein there is a proper encryption, there is a proper authentication process, but we do have a lot of data or a lot of documents on a one particular website. Try to understand or visualize like there is a one particular company and they have thousands of employees over there. Some employees are, you can say, a frontline employees who just the necessity of them is to get that access the data and read the content from that. They just need the permission to read the data. Okay, right protected. We can say that right permission need not to be given to a set of particular documents and for a set of employees, wherein we can have another group of employees to whom we can give the read and write permissions both. Means those particular employees can have a permission of modifying the content into a particular document. So we want to set a proper authorization process to a group of employees or a group of documents. This can be made possible by setting a proper securities or a proper authentication processes to the documents. So all these three, the encryption, authentication, and the authorization, they all go hand in hand with respect to any particular storage or the cloud storage devices. The next is the reliability, right? We use the client or a user wants to have a cloud storage facility only to retain the reliability of the documents. Reliable here we can try to explain in different aspects or a different point of views. One thing could be that since if a particular person wants to store data onto his local machine, and if he thinks that okay, there might be certain problems which may arise on the local machine, in order to avoid that one, what the user wants to do, he wants to overcome that problem and wants to go for a cloud infrastructure. And if the cloud, he or she try to think that okay, it will be a reliable if approaches onto the cloud infrastructure, but the cloud infrastructure if itself is a problematic, then it becomes a risk. Because if a particular cloud infrastructure or a cloud storage is not reliable, then whatever data we store on that particular website, all that particular data will be at a risk if there is no proper reliability. In order to avoid this reliability problem, most of the cloud computing providers, they go for a redundancy of data. We have spoken about this redundancy of data, why it is required in the previous class, right? So to avoid the reliability problems, so that every user or every customer of a particular web hosting provider, if they want to get a proper data accessible to all the users, right, then they go for an redundancy of the data, wherein they try to establish multiple servers, and all these servers would be connected to each other. Connected to each other means there will be a proper syncing of a data. If one particular server goes down, then the other server will be still up and the access can be given to the user by maintaining a proper reliability of the documents or the data to the end users. The same points I just tried to put it in this slide here. Then the advantages. Now, can you tell me what could be the advantages of having the cloud storage? What could be the advantages of having the cloud storage or moving onto a cloud storage environment?
So cost.
The cost, okay.
Sir, you can access to large amount of data irrespective of what storage capabilities you have on your system.
Okay, next. That's correct. We can increase
backup.
Yeah.
So access from anywhere.
Obviously, the access from anywhere, as the data is go down to the cloud, we can access our data from anywhere. We are not bound to any physical hard drives or storage mediums. And at any time, we can increase or decrease our data capacity whenever that is on demand. Data capacity can be obtained.
We get top tier security.
Security will be there. Yes. Another main advantage would be that for user. Yeah, go ahead.
So no system affairs like damage and all.
Yes, very good.
It is damaged. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was I was about to explain here. The one of the important advantage of the cloud storage is that if a user don't opt for the cloud service, cloud storage, and if the user's hard drive or a system gets crashed, then definitely there will be a loss of data which cannot be retrieved back. But if the same thing is there if the data is there on the cloud, then we can say that 99.999, we can say 100% the data is available on the cloud infrastructure, because it's the responsibility of the cloud vendor who has to maintain a reliable services to the end users. Do you know which is the popular cloud storage nowadays in the current market? Which particular vendor provides the reliable and which is more popular now? Any guesses? You can try to find it out later also. Okay. Now, do you think that there should be certain cautions or warnings that a particular user had to keep it in mind when opting for a cloud storage? If yes, then what?
So
availability of
internet.
Okay. Availability of internet need not to be a cautions or a warnings here. It can be considered as the different aspect. I will come to that particular point in the next slide.
Yes, but wherever we go, we need internet to access. So it can be a disadvantage also. So like if we don't have the internet, we can't access it.
Yeah, correct. That is a disadvantage. But here it is something cautions or the warnings. What are the cautions? How to be maintained by the user, or what type of a warnings?
Do not share credentials.
Yes, exactly. Do not share the credentials, right? All these cloud storages, if a user wants to access as the vendor has set up a certain securities, like a proper authentication has to be done. Based upon those authentication process, then only the user gets the access to those particular documents. So here authentication means the username and password which are set, or we can say a type of a security questions which are existing nowadays, right? Sometime if we fail to access or fail to access any websites related to the cloud storage, if we don't know the username and a password, then there might be certain security questions which we might have set upon, right? We may need to work upon those security questions also. Nowadays, most of the services provide a two-step authentication processes. You might be using the two-step authentication processes, isn't it? If you don't use, then you need to use the two-step authentication processes, so that even if your username and the passwords are leaked, if it is been accessed by some other devices which are not recognized, then a user will get a warnings or a messages on their handheld devices. Okay, and then based upon that two-step authentication process, they can permit to access, or they may deny the access as well. And one more important aspect is that these are the two things which we just explained or understood: periodically refreshing the passwords, or do not leaking out the username and the passwords, and security questions, and enabling the two-step authentication. There is one more particular warning, that is store sensitive data offline. That means as a user has to think twice or thrice what type of data they want to upload onto the cloud storage. As we have discussed in one of the class, that the cloud storage is not safe in certain aspects. There might be chances that the data might hacked also, right? Or it can be the vendor himself can try to give the access to such data to another third parties, right? Now, in such cases, keeping that particular point in the mind, user has to decide what type of data they want to upload or they want to store in the cloud. If it is really sensitive, such sensitive data need not to be uploaded onto the cloud storage. Rather, they can keep it themselves on the offline or on a local machine. Okay, these are the different warnings or cautions that a user has to take care in order to access the cloud storage. Okay, now coming on to the next one, that is outages. Now here in the outages, we can take out that particular point, what I think Ajay tried to say, that is unavailability of the internet. Now, that could be one of the outages. Here outages, when we say, it is something like a downtime of the particular cloud infrastructure. As a user have the internet, but on the client side, on the vendor side, there is no proper internet connectivity, or there might be a power failure, or the server itself is not accessible due to varieties of reasons. In such cases, we can say the cloud services are unavailable to the end user. And this particular cloud services, the unavailability of the cloud services, we can call it to be a cloud outage. Basically this cloud outage is nothing but it is the amount of time period in which the services are not given or not available to the end users, and it may happen because of varieties of reasons. Okay. So that is what about the cloud outages. It can happen based upon it. There might be a loss of power, network connectivity issues, or the backend updates. These backend updates issues might appear on a server side as well. If they want to update their server side, and if it is going into a maintenance phase, and if they don't have a redundancy of a data, right? Means if they have not set up a separate server for that, then there might be a problems, or there might be a cloud outages wherein the services will not be accessible to the end user. This cloud downtime or a cloud outage, both are similar. Both are the same name or a different name given to the same concepts. From this particular thing, you may get a 2 marks question, like what are the securities in cloud storage, or what are the outages, or what are the they may ask to list down 2 warnings or cautions that a user has to take care for the cloud storages. Just a 2 marks questions might be asked over here. The next concept, wherein definitely you are going to get a 5 marks question on these 5 different types of cloud storage providers: Amazon S3, Nirvanix, Google Big Table Data Store, MobileMe, and LiveMesh. Okay, now I want to handle this again through a student seminars, because these are very simple concepts. Students can collect the information based upon these things. So can I get the volunteers who wants to take up the seminar on these particular 5 different storage providers, wherein student need to collect the information like overview of that particular storage and its evolution, and different features provided by that particular storage provider, and what type of the technology they used to give those particular services, and its availability and pricing, and the system requirements. Availability pricing means there might be a free version of the services. If it is a free version, then what is the maximum size of the data they can store? If they want to store more amount of data, then what is the different pricing of that one? So these information have to be collected and has to be presented. And as you know, this presentation is mandatory for each and every student. So those students who have not yet given the seminar, they can try to nominate yourself.
So I'll take up for Amazon S3, sir.
Okay, let me make a note of things here.
So when will we have to give the presentation?
It will be from tomorrow. You will
Okay,
get information very easily. No need to worry about it. If you sit for 1 hour, then you will collect all the related information. So Ajay,
Okay.
Ajay is taking Amazon S3.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next.
Sir, I will go for Google Big Table Data Store.
1 second. Google Big Table Database. May I know the name?
Sir,
didn't
Sonam
recognize.
Patani.
Sonam Patani. Okay, Sonam. Good. Next, we have Nirvanix.
Sir, I will go for Nirvanix.
Nirvanix.
Indrabhushan.
Indrabhushan, right? Yes.
So I will go for MobileMe.
MobileMe. Name?
Prajwal Gavde.
Prajwal, yes. Okay. Next, last one is LiveMesh. Indrabhushan, I suggest you to take LiveMesh.
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 Yes, sir. Okay.
You can take LiveMesh and let the Nirvanix somebody else can take. Anyone student volunteering? If nobody is volunteering, then I have to give from the roll number side. So I will give 10 minutes more. If anybody willing to take. Your roll number starts from 671 or 74. I actually don't have the starting number here. I need to check it. Chetan, what is the first roll number? Let me check it out.
So it's 74. It starts from 74.
74, right? Yeah. Correct.
Yes, sir.
74 is not present. 75 is not present. 76 then. Aditi Halgekar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you need to take the Nirvanix here as part of your presentation. Aditi Halgekar. Okay. Ajay and 3 students can explain in tomorrow's class. It can
Okay,
be
sir.
Ajay, Sonam Patani, and Prajwal.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I will announce it once again. Ajay on Amazon S3, Sonam Pathani Google Bigtable, Prajwal Mobile Mein. These 3 students are supposed to give the presentation tomorrow. Live Mesh and Nirmanix have to be given by Indrabhushan and Aditi Halgekar respectively on Tuesday's class. Is that clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
What type of information you need to collect is given on this particular slide. Take a screenshot of this. Your presentation, your PPT should holds good with respect to these topics itself. You need to have one broad category overview and its evaluation. In that you can explain. If you want more slides, you can include, but it should be in the same order. And those students who have not yet shared the PPTs which you have explained, you have given in the previous classes, okay, you need to send it to me through email. I think I received from very few of the students. Chetan has not sent, and Sanjana also, I think she has not sent. Please do send your presentations. Okay, students, any doubts here? Any clarification you need?
No.
Anything you want to know about the things which we discussed in the today's class? Can anyone quickly tell me the Picasa? Who owns the Picasa? Whether this particular Picasa is existing or not?
Sir, Picasa owned by Google only, sir.
Yes, Picasa is owned by Google itself. Earlier, Google was having services to store the photographs, digital photographs onto the cloud storage, and they named it to be a Picasa. But later, Google has started with one more application which is called as Google Photos. Okay, and in order to maintain only one standard, they outdated the Picasa. They stopped the services of Picasa and they had migrated all the users of the Picasa onto the Google Photos. And now Google Photos is still available for the users. Recently, this month, yes.
Sir, is Picasa got like discontinued because of data leak?
There were not that much security was available to the Picasa, and the kind of outdated stuffs. Usually, it's like a gimmicks which any vendor tries to make it in the market. Like if they try to find out some services are not getting that much popularity, can that popularity can be because of different problems like security breaches and all. Then what they will do is that they will not continue with the same name. Instead of that, they will say that we are going to discontinue this one and we want to establish a new type of services. They may try to use the same architecture over there also by adding few more securities, but they will try to give a different name to that so that the end user will think that it is not the Picasa, it is something different. So the user will try to go on to the new services. The same thing has happened with respect to this Picasa. Picasa was having reliability issues and the security issues, which Google don't want to continue with. And what they did was they gave another brand name, new name, like Google Photos. And they said that, okay, it is a standard version. They're going to provide a lot of securities to that and it's reliable. Then they just, whatever the existing users were there in the Picasa, they migrated to Photos. And then it allowed to, they also allowed to user for the new subscription also. From June 1st, that is this month onwards, there were certain changes happened to the Google Photos. Do you know about that?
No, sir.
Anybody uses Google Photos to store photographs? I don't think so. You are not using, you don't use it.
So Google Photos, I use it, sir.
Google Photos, you use it to just view the photos or to store the or upload the photos on their servers?
So even I use Google Photos and even I store the photos over there.
on the cloud infrastructure, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, there is a misconception. One misconception is that Google Photos, when we say all the Google Android devices, they come up with a built-in application like Photos or a Google Photos. If it is, that particular app is not present, one can download from the Play Store also. If you have a Google Photos app in your system, that doesn't mean that you are using a cloud services there. It is just an application you are trying to use to access or to view the photos or to modify the photos on your handheld device. But the Google Photos online service means this is the infrastructure, what the cloud storage infrastructure service what they have. If you wish to upload, then you can do so. Earlier, till this month, that is till last month, it was a free. It was a free for high resolution data also. But this month onwards, they have put certain restrictions. It is not going to be a free services. If they want to store, they need to have a certain minimum amount of a payment to be done to access the Google Photos. And this announcement was made long back, around I think 2 to 3 months back, and they had given users to certain type of permissions. If you want to come out of the, or if you want to take out the services of the Google Photos, they have requested user to download all your photos and free up the storage. Even I did the same thing. I don't want to continue with the Google Photos. And what I did was I just downloaded all the photos from the Google Photos cloud infrastructure and then just discontinue with the Google Photos. Right. And I think you all mostly you use social networking services, right? Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, wherein you upload a lot of data, a lot of images, videos. Again, they make use of a cloud storage itself. You need to just keep an eye on your own data, what type of data you're uploading, what type of permissions you are giving to the photos. Try to upload the data, very less amount of data or less photographs onto the, especially the social networking sites, because it is not secure nowadays. Okay. Have you used Hotmail or Yahoo Mail? I think your generation,
No.
in your generation, you started accessing only Gmail, right? Earlier we had, before Gmail was popular,
Yes,
there was Hotmail and Yahoo Mail, but because of the popularity of what the Gmail has and the user friendliness, these two got its popularity. But still they are existing, less popular. Okay. Any other points we want to discuss here? Any other type of services have you felt that we can put it under the cloud storage services apart from these? Mega. Can you elaborate more on Mega, Chetan? If you see here, the Google Docs, right? Google Docs earlier, when they started with the Google Docs, it was having only flexibility to store documents, spreadsheets, and presentations, the PPTs and all. Okay, they had a separate file or a service for photographs as a Picasa. But now Google Docs is again changed its name, and it is now called as the Drive, right? In that particular Google Drive, we can store a lot of different types of data over there. We can store the documents, spreadsheets, we can store presentation. Along with that, we can even store any type of medias. Even if you want to store videos over there, we can store photographs, we can store, right? So if one particular service is, if one service is there which can be used to store a lot of different type of a storage device, files, then why do we need to use the other services like, for example, photos? It is absolutely not required to store data again on the Google Photos. If we store, then it is like a redundancy of data for end users. They need to store one type of data or one copy on a drive and another copy onto the photos. It is again a wastage of the data. For a one particular Google account, as a free, they provide a total of 15 GB. If ourselves we are making a duplicate copies, and then what may happen, our free data, whatever 15 GB is there, we are just filling that particular data with a duplicate copies. So one need not to go for that option. You can try to reduce that duplicacy of data on the cloud infrastructure.